in your band?
Brendan, I play guitar.
I'm John, I play drums.
I'm Kalen and I sing.
Okay.
For CDC.
Yeah.
People describe you guys as a sketchy band. Why do you think that is?
People were described as a sketchy band.
Yeah. That's the word in the street.
Really? There's only a few places I've heard that from. Probably none of it's true, because we're not a sketchy band at all.
I'll make it easy. I think we've had some past members that were some sketchy people.
Yeah, but nothing they did was ever too, like, nothing that really made it public, I guess.
A little sketchy.
Nothing that I ever viewed as overwhelming or deserving of such a title.
They're not in the band anymore, and that's the point.
I mean, I don't know, what are some examples of this sketchy behavior?
The only stuff that I can think comes to mind would be as like a small incident that happened in I think it was the Quad Cities a couple of years ago, when someone who was with us stole some DVDs from someone's house, and I found out about it, flipped out on them, got them all back for the person and returned them all as quickly as I could, and we still got shit for it 2 years later, even though everything was squashed. So obviously those people are corny, and I don't really care to have anything to do with them, because once something's squashed, I think it should remain squashed, especially when a good deed is done to counteract the bad deed. So
Another associate in girls.
oh yeah, we had someone that liked to pull his penis out and stick it in multiple vaginas, but that was never anything that really reached the surface. He never really fucked anyone that was, I don't know, popular.
Yeah.
He always went for ugliers.
He did. But that's about all I can think of for those
Just
two incidents.
past members making bad choices. That's a bad name.
But nothing overwhelming, really.
Have you guys made any bad choices in recent times?
Why do you look at me?
Bad choices recent. Nights was like, wow, I should have had that last shot or something. I don't know. No, everything. This tour's been great. Everyone's getting along. We haven't had any problems or anything. Really, it's been a good tour. Really, it's great.
How come it seems like there's so much beef in the hardcore scene?
Because people are quick to listen to what other people say, and people fabricate stories, and people are quick to flex their muscles, whether it be in person or mostly on the internet. That's what I feel, at least.
I think it also has a big thing to do with like different tastes in the hardcore scene. Like, if everybody doesn't like the same thing as like one group, then that one group doesn't like those people. And like, this is supposed to be for everyone, so why? That's as I see it.
Yeah, because I mean, 3-4 years ago there was quite the backlash against fashion core and kids with the swoop haircut, and now it seems like there's a backlash against the tough guy hardcore, because there are so many kids getting into the whole heavy sound.
Yeah, I guess once something becomes popular, it becomes popular to hate on that. Or even though I really don't feel Tough Guy ever became too overwhelmingly popular. Yeah, I guess.
I think it's always going to be like that. There's always going to be someone that's going to hate something,
Yeah,
and there's always going to be haters.
And there's always rises in different types of music, and everything always rises and falls. It's always a cycle. Always a cycle.
What do you think Tough Guy Hardcore represents?
Well, I mean, maybe to you personally. When I think Tough Guy Hardcore, I just think really heavy music, real hard mosh. The kids that love the mosh and everything. There's a lot of Tough Guy bands, and obviously those kids weren't tough. It can be younger kids playing heavy music, but it's still a Tough Guy genre.
And that usually gets hated on a lot too, and I don't understand that, because I think maybe lyrically it depends on where you're from, but I don't think it matters where you're from in order to play certain types of music.
I think.
I just think that's where Tough Guy gets hated a lot, because everyone's like, oh, from the cul-de-sacs they're playing heavy music. Is music not allowed to reach the suburbs? Are we not allowed to enjoy certain types of music and play it?
I think as long as your lyrics don't preach something that you can't back up, then there should be no problem whatsoever. I mean, if a little kid who's 5'0" is talking about he's going to beat everybody up, and you're calling yourselves a tough guy band, but he can't back it up, that's a little cause for concern, and that's what gets me like a sour taste in my mouth. Like, we're we're classified as a tough guy band, but never do we say that we're gonna beat anybody up or anything. And when was the last time any of you guys were in a fight?
Yeah, never.
Me, I have not since I was 17, since I started growing up.
Yeah.
John, I mean, you raised a very interesting point about how there's this notion that, you know, unless you're from the city and, you know, from the slums and from the streets,
Yeah.
which have been so glorified in,
Yeah.
you know, so many of the old schoolers' albums, you can't tell
Be
about
into a
hardcore.
certain
You can't play
type of music.
hardcore. There's some visitors here.
Some friends,
CDC LiveFirstMontreal.com.
lifers, pick it up.
Live first.
That's being
These two hard
times.
that's being cut out of the interview, by the way.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. That's gonna go right in.
I'm amazing with the knife.
What's up, fellas?
What's up? How you doing? Good to see you guys.
Doing good?
Beautiful
Yeah,
magazine, by the way. Beautiful
Uh-huh.
magazine.
Oh, you got it.
Okay, let's keep going. We got another guy waiting.
Sorry. Almost done.
I need one, yes.
John, follow up on, as we were saying,
How do you feel about that?
there's a notion that, you know, unless you're from the streets, you cannot play hardcore, you can't associate with it, or if you do,
Yeah.
you're a poser.
I just feel like, you know, where we're from, we live right outside the city of Philadelphia. Like, literally, it takes 20 minutes to get to a part of the city. I mean, depending on where you're going, obviously. But we've had hardcore in our town for years. Some reputable bands that, you know, people have loved,
Like?
Dysphoria, like a band that has actually gone like far, and you know, people all across the country and some places in the world know Dysphoria. And I think that like we grew up listening to like Dysphoria and like, you know, other bands like that, and it helped, like, they branched us off into listening to different types of music and other bands. And you know, I don't know, I just personally enjoy the heavier, harder sound, and just because I'm not from, you know, the city, you know, I get shit on sometimes, and I just think it's dumb because I've been listening to it since, you know, I started listening to music, listening to the hardcore music, and I just think it's retarded that you can be judged because you're from, you know, a nicer area and you listen to harder music. I mean, I understand the roots and all, but especially in this day and age of the internet, I mean, granted, that didn't help me get into music back then, but this day and age of the internet, you know, you can get into anything from anywhere. And I don't think that people that listen to, you know, reggae should get shit on because they're not from Jamaica or somewhere.
We all grew up in stable households, but that doesn't mean that we don't see what goes on in the world and like in the other areas. Like you said, we're 20 minutes from the city. Like I see the same things that people see that live there. Maybe not as much, but I still see enough that like I can feel something like in me that wants to help or wants to address that issue, whether it be lyrically, like poetically, like anything. That's what I think is the problem. Like, I grew up in a single parent household. Like, I was steady my entire life. I never wondered where the next paycheck was going to come from. Like, my parents both worked decent jobs. I got everything that I needed was provided, but that doesn't make me any different than the guys that did grow up on the streets and stuff like that.